What a game that will be.
In fact, the first week there's some terrific matchups, isn't there?
All four.
Including the big one on Sunday. All right, underway here in the second quarter. Broughton, Subin with the right boot. A wobble towards half forward. Well played by Schofield. Wide into the path of Ward. He gets a good bounce, and from the wings, ordinary looking kick. Now Johnson an opportunity. Plenty of time, and then just skies it back towards the wing. Ward sits underneath it. Fisted on by Hill, and over for a boundary throw in right below our broadcast position on centre wing.
Callum Ward around the footy at the moment. We heard maybe a few Bronx cheers in the first quarter when he gained a possession. Just the 3 disposals, maybe a fair bit weighing on that man's mind in what may be his last game for the Bulldogs this afternoon.
Grover, what great service he's given the Fremantle Dockers. Main lost a handle on it. Bradley put his body on the line, couldn't snaffle the footy, but does get a free kick, I think, for his efforts. Yep, no, in fact, it's Johnson in the end getting the free kick. So Johnson kicks wide to the wing. It's good delivery too to Silvani. He gets away from Hall. He kicks into the pocket, looking for Clark. He's caught behind, brought the ball to ground. Good pick up from the big man, off to Sipasato. Kicks towards the goal square, and it's out on the full.
As we see the Dockers go forward, I really feel next year and the last 2 or 3 years of Matthew Pavlich's career, he needs to play permanent forward. I think that's getting Morabito back, getting David Mundy back to assist Hill, and also Fife Darce. I think the times where he's a permanent forward, not floating into the midfield.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's where I believe he's played his best footy. It's where Fremantle need him to. Good move, and you're right, a couple of good inclusions when they get to fully fit next year.
Sandilands kicks inside the attacking 50. Main off to Bradley. Oh, little fumble at a critical moment. And he gets a free kick. But in the back, 20 metres from goal, directly in front against Matthew Boyd, who can't believe the decision. Let's have a look at it. Oh, fair enough. Put his hands initially, then just dropped the knee in without any malicious intent, mind you, but free kick was there. So Kepler Bradley from directly in front kicks the goal and scores all tied up. And Big Ben Hudson just having a couple of words in his final game to Kepler Bradley.
Maybe suggesting that he didn't perhaps go as hard enough as he should, Michael, maybe.
And there'll be a free kick paid against Kepler Bradley. He's a bit of a jumper punch there on Ben Hudson. That's is fair enough. Good decision by the umpire.
Always been a good sledger, Ben Hudson.
After the goal was kicked, there was a bit of mouthing off between these two, and in this aftermath of the scuffle, Kepler is a bit of a jumper punch on Ben Hudson, as we see, and the free kick has gone to Hudson.
So the People's Beard gets the kick. He looks for Hall, the 2 retirees combining, but Barry Hall's given away the free kick.
Look, I just wonder whether he thought, and he woke up this morning and thought, I just wonder whether the umpires might just give me a bit of a run today, Lloydie, and just in my final game, give me a bit of a chop out. Look after me for once.
Crowley pops one over the top to Hinkley. Back to Crowley. Now the kick comes out wide, and mark is taken by Silvani. Goes long down the line as a bit of a floater. Clark went way up before acceptances. Was got a free kick for a push out.
Yeah, against Easton Wood, umpire right on the spot there. Just thought that Easton Wood edged him under.
Oh, it's got to be 50 metres, surely.
It is. Good call for so.
Daniel Cross just hovered in that zone, the protected zone, and he just got a little confused and
was trying to track Michael Barlow. I think he's got the roll on Chris Owen. Barlow was smart enough to roll around, and Cross was trying to get across to him,
and then stopped and thought, well, do I? But in any case, Clark kicks an easy goal. Dockers in front. So there's umpire McBurney explaining it to Daniel Cross. If he had have gone through Darce and followed his opponent, then he might have been okay, but he just stopped and hesitated. And umpire McBurney actually asked him, move out of the area, and he just stood there, and he had no option but to call the 50. So here's the 50-metre. There's Daniel Cross. He's on Barlow. Now, you can see umpire McBurney saying come out of it. He wasn't quick enough to react, and 50-metre penalty paid.
He had to keep running around the back, but he just stayed there, which stopped Clark's movement.
Hudson tried to feed it to Liberatore unsuccessfully. Quick kick by Shammer to half forward. Mzungu attacked it nicely, and good handball off to Shammer. Oh, Hinkley spent it before he had it, and that's a bad turnover by the Dockers. Disappointing stuff. Murphy on the rebound for the Bulldogs. Nice kick. Mark taken by Jones.
Barry's got a one-on-one if Liam wants to go that far.
He doesn't go that far. It's a nice kick again. Off to the skipper Boyd, who looks for Hall in the pocket and finds Barry Hall. Very tight angle. But we know this is well within his capabilities.
Has to be the old-fashioned banana here, I would have thought, for Barry Hall, as he runs out the left foot.
In he comes, Barry Hall. Oh. Beautiful kick. It's a goal. And manages to have a crack at the umpire at the same time.
All as a result of a turnover from Hinkley.
Yeah, it was a bad one, wasn't it, Matthew?
On the half-back flank, and he's one player that's fighting for his career, I think, today. Still unsigned by the Fremantle Dockers. And Mzungu doing a good job on Rob Murphy. That gets him into the game. He created that goal by his ball use. Yeah, terrible turnover. Well done, Barry Hall. Yeah, Clayton Hinkley is fighting for his career to stay on the Dockers list. That's a horrible turnover, and he's brought Robert Murphy into the game. And as a result, his ball use gets the ball to Barry Hall, who kicks a great goal.
Hudson towards Cross. Book of Arts gives it to Broughton, who hacks it inside the attacking 50. Here's a chance at ground level for Pitt. Now it spills to Murphy, and after Schofield was able to get it out, and he kicks dangerously across the ground, but it's okay. Jan Siracusa. And they come out of defence through Boyd. Shorts it to Vez Premi, and now Schofield, who kept running. Vez Premi doing it well, the Dogs moving it efficiently until that kick from Vez Premi, and kicks it out on the full, so a free kick will come to Duffield. As we look at that jumper punch from Bradley.
I think Ben Hudson rather enjoyed that. And the Dockers work it to the 50. Mzungu, who, as Matthew said, has got the job on Murphy and doing pretty well. Waste no time, goes to the big fella, and why not? When you're one-on-one, he gives it off to Bradley, who gets the Joe the Goose goal. Well, why wouldn't you kick it quickly to the man who's 7 foot standing in the goal square, and Bradley was just loitering, and he got the nice little handball and finished it off.
And it's an underrated play, this quarters, and I would like to see a lot more of it next year for Fremantle. You've got the ruck skills to play that role. It's a good move. Keep him on the ground, see if the big unit can turn himself into a power forward when he's resting.
What they love about Mzungu is he can be negative on an opponent, but he also finds a footy, and Darce, you're spot on. I think that's in quarters, that matchup of Sandy Lance, unstoppable at the top of the goal square. He made Markovic look like a midget.
Clark. Hudson diving on the football. Barlow equal to the task.
On the footy, you've dived on it.
And there you go. Can't afford to drive on the footy. Barlow off one step high towards Main, who's up and in front. Mzungu, who's proving to be a bit of a handful. Now Murphy is down, clutching at his left hamstring.
He might have just hit his head, I reckon, on the landing, Crusoe. So went up and almost accidentally tunnelled himself here. You can see the legs go out.
Oh, bang, yeah. He grabbed his... Oh, it's more the top of his buttock.
Coccyx. That's what he's hurt.
Oh, yeah. So Mzungu now with this opportunity from just inside 50 to give the Dockers a handy little break. Looks pretty good off the boots. Just offline. So margin now 7 points in favour of Fremantle.
Absolutely dominating this quarter. The Dockers contest the possession 16-3. Clearances 4-1, and inside 57-3. So they've just been wasteful, but are right on top at the start of the second quarter.
Wood's kick went straight down the throat of Johnson. who kicks into the pocket and finds Hill. So Luke Darcy joining the Robert Walls bandwagon when those years ago he said that Pavlich and Hazelby and Lee Brown had a little bit too much pudding around the midriff. And Luke Darcy's continued the tradition with Michael Johnson.
I'm not sure you bracket me with Robert Walls for giving it to blokes. That's more the men alongside him. Matthew Lloyd is the apprentice there.
Hill from a tight angle kicks across the face. Sandlin's got pushed out. Ball still alive, and it's a rush behind. Didn't that cause some controversy at the time?
He let a few bombs go over the journey. That one was particularly well received.
And the three players still haven't forgotten either. Paul's long retired now.
Ward short kick. Mark taken by Boyd, who's coming in for disposal number 12. And he finds there's Premi, who's coming up for disposal number 10. So he's had a good start to the game. Now he's called to play on and forced to kick off a step towards the wing. The big boys there. Chance for Jones, claims the mark, not paid. Rough head. Oh, gee, put Barlow right in trouble. Tackled by Duffield, but no prior opportunity. And we'll get a bounce between wing and half forward for the Dockers.
Probably not going to be one for the Name of Game DVD sales, this one, you wouldn't think, but it's what it is. It's a round 24 game. Neither side can play in the finals. But young players, as we said, are out there playing for their careers. That's what today is all about.
I'll tell you what, though, Luke, there's not much spark in the Dogs. If you're Paul Williams, I know he's only coached a handful of games, you just about strip the paint off the walls at half-time. There's not much passion out there at the moment for the Dogs.
You're absolutely spot on with Barry Hall, with Ben Hudson, two players who have made a massive impact at the club. You'd like to see a little bit more energy.
Ryan Griffin keeps the football alive. Running onto it is Boyd. The Western Bulldogs captain has a bounce and drills the pass. Now it's downfield, is it?
Yeah, he got a push as he kicked it, and that will be paid downfield. It's the real pros, aren't it? That no matter what the circumstances, they just deliver the same performance each week. Matty Boyd's had 13 disposals, leading disposal gather on the ground. The next best has had 9, and he'll just, regardless of the circumstances, he'll just continue to give you his heart and soul.
Daniel Jan Syracuse has ended up with a relay free kick, kicked a nice goal in the first quarter, and just need this. The Dogs are a bit flat at the moment. We know, we're already talking about today, that he's a beautiful finisher, Daniel Jan Syracuse, kicking from about 45 metres out. Lovely.
Big penalty to pay. That's Stephen Hill just sloppy on Matthew Boyd, kicking inside 50. It was going to be a turnover, and Stephen Hill just put his arm over the shoulder. Wasn't a lot in it, but it was careless from Stephen Hill. It was a huge penalty to pay for what it was, but they'd be bitterly disappointed with that, leading the Doggies back in the game.
There's the Bulldog on the Western Bulldogs jumper. There's some talk, Luke Darcy, next year that maybe the Bulldog on the jumper might be phased out, and even talk that they might go back to their old name, Footscray.
Look, I'm not sure about the old name revisiting that, but I never really was a massive fan of that Bulldog. It looks more like a panther to me, so if that goes back to the old stripes, happy to see that. But I think the Western Bulldogs is the brand.
Oh, clever mark taken by Jones. And a young player. The Dogs are hoping to step up to the plate next year. Fisted away by Johnson, taken by Maine Crowley. Oh, well tackled by Jan Syracuse. He took it to the line, has been pinged for deliberate. Oh, tough call from umpire McBurney. So Jan Syracuse with the free kick. Right half forward, there's Barry Hall, wants it deep. Although Sanderland's working back. Now Hall provides the lead. Jan Syracuse instead goes short and finds Ryan Griffin. Now, let's have a look at this. Crowley.
That is ridiculous.
That's tough, isn't it?
Tough. I mean, it's tackled and spilled out of his arms. I mean, just a mistake, I suppose. Everyone makes it.
Yep. So here's Ryan Griffin to put the Dogs back in front. Fremantle have controlled this quarter for the better part of it. It's swinging back, heading into the post. So they're behind The Dockers lead now just 1 point.
Last 3 weeks, the Dockers have had 18 fewer inside 50s than their opposition. Today, they lead the count 22-17, so getting enough ball in there. But as for most of their year, they've really struggled to convert and find a winner forward of centre.
Leading possession getters in the game for the Dogs, 14 to Boyd, 11 to Griffin, 10 to Ves Premi. For Fremantle, 9 apiece to Broughton and Shammer, and 8 to Johnson. Sandlin's against Hudson. Sandlin's beautiful tap to Barlow. He's been quiet so far this afternoon, but he'll just want to get through this season unscathed after that terrible broken leg last year. High tackle on Cross.
Yeah, the man who has restricted Michael Barlow to 2 possessions is Daniel Cross.
Murphy to Barlow, who's forced to backtrack. Now swings onto the right, goes long. Good effort by Johnson. Too big and too strong for Jan Syracuse.
No, free kick.
Is it? No?
No, sorry, you're right.
Johnson's taken the mark, and he goes short to Silvani.
I thought the umpire signalled the other way, but Dockers work it out of defence. And Byron Shammer's had a pretty good afternoon. Coming in, as you mentioned, quarters. He's had 9, now 10 disposals.
Don't know if going to stop broking at this stage of proceedings is the wisest move, Chriso. A little bit volatile at the moment.
Crowley towards half forward. Anthony, well done by Ward, wins the one-on-one. Cross, Schofield providing some run. And he drives it from the wing towards half forward in the direction of Barry Hall. Didn't get the greatest of bounces. Now Grover. Back to Michael Johnson. And his kick to the wing is a beauty. And the mark's taken by Greg Broughton. On centre wing for the Dockers. Chips towards half forward and coming out Sipasato.
Shown a little bit, Chris.
He has kicked the goal with his first kick. Late replacement for Luke McFarlane towards Sandilands. Hudson did well initially. Now a chance for Pitt. Pushed off the ball by Wood. Now Wood recovers to Schofield. Oh, he thought about giving the handball. Play on the call. Great pick up by Liberatore. And he pokes the left foot. Oh, push out surely. And the free kick will be taken by Jack Anthony on centre wing.
Short to Mzungu, who's called to play on. Oh, good kick. Sandlands has got the sit. And it's well done by Mzungu. That's the second time he's found big Sandlands.
What surprised me playing on Aaron Sandlands was how aerobic he is. He's actually a really good natural runner, and in their pre-season runs, surprisingly, he's up at the front half of the group rather than the back half for a man that size. When he uses it like that, he actually ran Ben Hudson off his feet a bit in the end and pushes forward. And then you've got to try and play as a defender on someone 7 feet tall. That's why he's such a good player.
And he has missed.
And just while we watch him, Barry Hall is growing in frustration. Silvani, who's going to be a ripper defender for Fremantle, he's holding Barry all the time, and Barry's ready to explode. He's whinging to the umpires.
Oh, no.
No. Could go out with a bang, big Barry. Let's hope he doesn't, but he is growing by the minute with the frustration with the way Silvani's playing it.
Cross gets it to Grant, who's just back into the centre circle. Half distance kick, and a good mark taken by Roughhead. Now, Roughhead decides to go to the pocket, and well done by Michael Johnson again. Work to the front, gets the handball to Pearce. Dogs have got the numbers there. Dalhouse, Jan Syracuse, Tut, clever little kick is touched on the. No, it's a goal. He's going to give it a go. Sensational stuff.
It'll be good to see that one again, Chriso. The Fremantle supporters that are here fuming with that. Tut just knows where the goals are. We saw that in his first game. Let's take a look at it.
It was tight, wasn't it?
It was tight. That's where that goal line technology, you'd love to have it.
Yeah. Look, I mean, the goal umpire is in the best spot, but just did look as though it was right entirely over the line.
Let's take another look at this. Was it a goal or wasn't it from Tut? It was a great, smart goal, but was it touched before the line? They could have got away with one there, the Dogs.
Broughton tackled by Boyd, stripped of the ball. Now Ves Premi got it out, has another go at it. Picked up by Shammer, who has done well. Off to Johnson, also playing well. Deft little chip kick's a good one to half forward. That's marked by Jaden Pitt, who dishes off to Mzungu, who looks for Sandilands again, and he finds him again. Now, can Big Sandy nail this goal? Missed an easy one a couple of minutes ago. This is the go, I reckon. Just kick to the big fella up forward, but no one remotely tall enough to counter him.
Or at least that should be where he rests quarters. You know, play the minutes of the ruck. He needs to get some time away from the centre, put him forward.
So Sandilands is missed again. Geez, they've missed some easy goals this afternoon, the Dockers. 4 goals 10 to 5 goals 7.
The thing the ruck work gives you as a forward is a great technique for being able to move your opponent off the size of the footy, off the right space of the footy. Couple of that when you've got 125 kilos of mass behind you, pretty I suppose desperate sight for a defender to try and line up an Aaron Sanders, isn't it?
Picking back to Tutt, who's away with a bounce through the centre, kicks it very wide and too wide for Roughhead. Anthony does well, pushing it over, boundary throw in. Fremantle had numbers back, causing the kick to go wide. So a boundary throw in, half forward for the Bulldogs. Clark reaches over the top, taken by Griffin, kick towards Hall, and Vez Premier at the back. No doubt the kick was intended for Hall. Had too much on it. Vez Premier read it best, and he'll kick from 25 metres, as good as directly in front.
Interesting story, Vez Premier. He was a high draft pick, didn't quite cut the mustard at Sydney. He's got some ability, hasn't he?
Yes, I think Darcy's spot on, just working on that engine and his ball use, and but he looks to have something.
So here he is. Good kick. Dogs further in front. So 21 minutes into the second term, the Dogs out by 9 points.
I reckon you're a bit harsh on Ryan Griffin there, Chris. I think he had best Premi in his sights. He's getting the congratulations of his teammates for a well-executed kick straight down his throat.
Well, foot was tennis for Hall.
Stephen Hill's an absolute beauty. He's been a great player for Fremantle in his short career, but one disposal in 22 minutes of footy sort of really work at ways to shake the tag moving forward for next year.
Yeah, it's been his nemesis this year. I guess it'll help when the likes of Morabito come back next year, and
Mundy.
Mundy back, and another few games in the legs of Michael Barlow. Take a little bit of pressure off him. Third man up was Cross. Oh, beautifully worked to Ward, who kicked to half forward. That's a high tackle on Barlow. Advantage paid. Not for long. Gian Siracusa gets it back. He's tackled by Crowley, but good release to Griffin. Not sure what to do with it. In the end, gives it off to Cross. Now Wallace. Long down the line to Hall. And Hall's got it. Too far out to score. So now he's waiting for a lead. Not really many forthcoming. Now he's just decided to go short. The mark's taken by Picken.
So Picken, and goes back to Hall, who marks 47 from goal, and he can kick it from there, Big Barry.
One thing that's amazed me to Andy Marr down there is how long Silvani's been on the interchange bench.
He's desperately keen to get back on board. As soon as he saw Hall come back on, he pounced back to his feet, but Grover was given the opportunity to go with Hall, and young Silvani's been desperate to get back on the ground.
Shake of the head there from Silvani, not happy. So here's Hall from just outside 50. Has it got the carry? No, touched right on the line by Zach Clark.
Go back where that last inside 50 was set up from. Daniel Cross has been an expert at the third man up for the Bulldogs for a few years. And when you get it right, it's a massive advantage. Get it wrong and you can be outnumbered at the contest.
Johnson to Broughton. His target is Clark. There's Hill, spoilt by Wood. Big Clark again. Off to Hill. He's got a couple of options here. One of them is Hinkley. Off to Book of Arts, who kicks long again to Sandilands. Oh, this is working a treat. This time, big standing play on. Oh, he's got himself into trouble. And it's another stuff up from the Dockers. Oh, my goodness. They've had about 5 or 6 gimme goals that they've absolutely butchered.
Well, we saw Sandilands has taken 4 marks within 20 metres. And you look here.
And they've got not one goal for his efforts.
He doesn't want, he gave one to Kepler Bradley. The rest have all been messed up. But he didn't want to take the shot there, Darcy. He's lost his confidence.
Duffield was the man that kicked the point, by the way.
Yeah, and Markovic has got to get some touch on the big fella because that was far too easy.
So a chance here for Wallace. Got a bad bounce, Griffin. Going in hard, Ward, Mzungu. And a free kick will come back to Callan Ward, who many think will head to Greater Western Sydney next year, and therefore his last game perhaps for the Western Bulldogs is pick and kicks wide. Well played at ground level by Silvani, who's back onto the ground. Book of Arts threw it away. Barlow, cross, paddles to the advantage of Tutt, who can't control it. A boundary throw-in on centre wing.
Might be announced as early as Monday, that signing, Michael. Greater Western Sydney, they'll make some announcements next week, we'd suspect.
So he'll be a big loss for the Bulldogs. They will be compensated. Clark, Broughton on hands and knees. Clark goes in hard as well. Shoveled out by Liberatore. Ward again, pushing it forward. Bit of grappling going on there between Hill and Des Premi. And taken over by Subin.
We saw Alex Silvani get hold of Lance Franklin earlier in the year. This is the effort. See the name Silvani, we've seen that many a times with Steve, but with McFarlane turning 30, they've got the perfect replacement over the next few years to hold down fullback for a long time for Fremantle.
Cousin of Steve Silvani is Alex. Here's Liberatore. Good kick into space. Gian Siracusa working Pearce under the ball. Then tackled when he didn't have it. For Barry Hall has to do a bit of hurdling work. And that'll be... No, umpire was about to pay a free kick. Sipasato blazes away back to the wing. Oh, that's a terrific mark. Taken out there by young Pitt. Jaden Pitt, that was a beauty. Just 18 years of age.
He's about 18 kilos.
Touch of the Nat Fifes about him. And it looks like he's got a lot of class. And it's a raking kick to the 50. Cross can't take it. Free kick. And advantage paid. And there's a couple of players down hurt. Big collision, that one. I think one of them is Mzungu.
The other one's Daniel Cross.
And the other one is Cross, and they're still both down and out.
Meantime, Hudson off to Markovic. Poor kick. Well read by Pearce. He is able to chop it off. Sipasato at half back now. A little gives okay to Silvani. He kicks back towards the wing.
Crosses up and okay.
Okay, good news.
Mzungu's still down.
Shammer. Oh, handball had too much on it for Subin. Pitt does well. Well, he gave it back to Shammer, who was under the pump from Cross. And the Dogs have got the numbers here, and they work it pretty well. Ward picking back to Ward, who runs across half-back looking for an option. He's got one short in Tutt, decides instead to kick wide into the path of Schofield, who can run. He's got working hard for him, Tutt.
Mzungu's up,
across,
limping off.
Okay, so let's hope he's okay as Clark takes the mark at half-back, long to half-forward, and Bradley does well in behind Schofield.
On his own, you
one
just
out.
get it there. Oh, it's a bad kick.
Gee, kicked it short, and Markovic was able to come out. Sandlands did well to affect the spoil. Barlow, well tackled by Boyd, and the umpire is going to bounce. No, he's going to pay the free kick to the Western Bulldogs against Barlow.
That's the only place not to kick that footy, wasn't it?
A knee into the chest of Mzungu. Great courage from both players, but that would have really hurt.
Bob Murphy away for the Dogs. And decides to go back inboard. Kicks to Wood. Off to Tutt. Anthony. Oh, a bit of magical stuff there from Jack Anthony. Then an interesting kick as the siren sounds. And that is it. Half-time here at Etihad Stadium. The Zungus recovered, which is good news. So is Cross, and it's the Dogs by 9 points. 6-8-44 to Fremantle. 4-11-35, and what might have been for the Dockers if they'd kicked straight.
Hasn't reached any great heights this contest, but enough for us to be thrilled. Been really interested to see the big boy Aaron Sandilands in the goal square. Something for the Dockers there, Quarters.
Coming up next, Strawny goes head-to-head with Barry Hall.